Hello, hello. How are you guys doing? What's up, Losh? Whoa, got a little excited there. You're first. What's up, Casey? How's it going? What's up, Wing Chun? Hey, Benjamin. How's it going? How come Casey is number 3 and then Wing Chun is number 2, even though Casey got it first? What's up, Nikki? How's it going? Did you guys like the previous episode? Yang Kang died. Was a pretty good death too, so I think I'm satisfied. It was a long time coming. He was not a cool dude. All right. Let's see. Let's do this in 2 minutes. Oh no. Oh no. What's this word? Hmm. Hmm. It's only one vowel, eh? Third. One vowel. Frisk? No. Frick? Fring? Fringe? Fring? Is that a word? Fring? Not a word. Ring? Tring? Turing? Ring? Fring? Gring? Ring. Oh no. Oh, G is there. How about G. G. I. G. G. H. G. H. G. Gur. Fur. No R. Fig. Fig. Figure. Figgy. The I has to be the second or the fourth letter, right? Because if there's an I here, there's too many consonants. Rig. Ridge. Ridge? No. Rigging. Rib. Riff. Riff. Riffy. Ifrit. That's a Final Fantasy. Id. Ig. Rid. Rid. Ridge. Ridge. Riff. Rick. Rid. Rig. Ha. Riven. Riveg. Rivy. Is there 2 I's? I-G. Ig. Rig. Ridge. Rig. Rig. Right. Rye. High. Rye. Rye. Right. Right. No T. Right. Rye. Rye. High. Oh no. Try. Fry. No FR. Oh no. Rid. Riddig. Riddig. Not a word. Riddy. Riffy. Riggy. Riggy? Ribby? Rivy? Riffy? Riddy? Riz? Rix? Rick? Ha! Girth. No R. Giddy. Gitter. Guider. Guider. Biter. Hider? Hitter? Oh no! B G R Third. Oh god! Hurry! Hig. Higher. Hib. Hidge. G R G. What is this word? IR. That's not a word. GHT. Right. Rye. High. Rye. Bry. Bright. Fright. Rice. Rig. Rye. Riggy. Ryer. Dry. Digger. Oh my god. Grr. Okay. Grr. G. Ghost. Something IR. Oh my god. Higher. G. Bite. Blight. Buy. Bigger. Biger. Tea. Bite. Bright. Right. Ig. No. What is this word? I can't. I can't. I can't. Giver. Given. Giving. Given. Biven. Vivin. Vibing. Vibin. Is vibin. Vibig. Virig. Vibrate. Vibray. Vibray. Vigry. I can't. I can't. I can't. Bite. Bite. Bitin. Bitin. Bidiv. Bited. Bited? Bith. Bith. Bath. Bith? Bithy. Bitter. That's what I am. Gib. Ha! I just need to do right. Even though it's not the right word. Just to eliminate some fucking consonants. I'm gonna do it. Not getting anywhere. Rig. 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 Riggy. Rig. Rye. Rid. Rig. Rigger. Rigging. Rigid. Rigid! It's rigid. Yes! That was so easy. Oh, I'm so good at this game. Ah. House chat. So rude noise. Yeah, you got it in just the perfect time. That took like 1 minute. Rigid. What kind of word is rigid? All right, this should be easy. Just as easy as Wordle. Aphid. Is it aphid or aphid? Beetle, cedar, decay, easy, effort, geo, tick, beach, vendetta, apple, pine, might, cookie, you, ziti? Ziti? What the hell is that? Something aphid, beetle, tick, and might? That may be too obvious though. Okay. Easy. Effort. A for effort. Beech tree, cedar tree, pine tree, and you is a tree, right? I feel like that might be too easy. Okay. Easy vendetta apple cookie. Oh, easy peasy. You get an apple. You get a cookie for effort. Easy, I think. One away. Easy apple effort cookie. That was ZD. Hmm. Apple vendetta. Geo. Decay. Get a cookie in an apple for effort. Easy. Geo. Decay. Apple can cause tooth decay. Effort. A vendetta. Easy. Cookie. ZD. One away. What Is it decay? What the? Oh God. 50-50. Wait, apple, effort, cookie. A for effort. A for apple. A for cookie. Apple, a cookie. Geo. Vendetta. V for vendetta. Oh God. What is the connection? Cookie, apple. You get a cookie if you're good. You give your teacher an apple. Ah, vendetta. Vendetta. 50-50. Oh, I'll do it. Geo. Geo. No. Oh, shit. It is V for vendetta. E for effort. C for cookie. A for apple. Wait. C is for cookie. Words that sound like two letters. DK. Oh, easy. Geo. Z. ZT. This is bullshit. I never heard C is for cookie. E for effort. C is for cookie? What is that? C is for cookie. Apparently, it's a Sesame Street song. That Cookie Monster thing. Okay. All right, tell me what the C is for cookie.
Now, what starts with the letter C? Cookie starts with C. Let's think of other things that starts with C. Who cares about the other things? C is for cookie. That's good.
All right, enough of that. It's from this. Wow, Nikki knows the song. What is E is for? Elmo. Effort. E is for effort. E for effort. It's a science fiction novelette. Oh, how am I supposed to know this? Gonna lose for me? Shut up! Rude noise. All right, let's do this fast. Cookie. Monster. Effort. F4? Effort. Oh! Struggle. That was me. The last two games. Sweat. Tears. Effort. Accomplish. Enact. Task. Strength. Act. Action. Effort. Task. Project. Oh! This vindicates everything, okay? Forget about those last two games. This makes up for it. Project. Ah, so easy. Whew. That was so fast, I almost didn't see it. Is the audio spotty? No, I hope not. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Wait, maybe it is. Boom, boom. Oh, maybe. Hold on. It might be too low. Do, 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 do. Ah. La 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 la. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, it's better now, I think. All right. Okay. I think we deserve a snack for our performance there. I have this. Wait, guess myself. Ugh. I have this. Looks like a pineapple. Some kind of sweet pineapple snack. All right. You can't really see it, but it's like covered in sugar. Wait. Maybe not pineapple. I think it's mango. Yeah, it's mango. It's all right. Says mango on the package. Yep, yep. They kind of look like pineapple, but if you look a little bit closer, it's just a cut mango, cut into little squares. It's all right. It is what it is. It's just a little, like a sugary thing. Gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, it's 5. Emo mango. It is what it is. Out of 10. Exactly. Okay. I think it's a long chapter today. Maybe. All right. So, what happened last week? So, to recap, remember, Kujanu is hiding behind the statue in that temple, and Hong Rong is outside. She's describing how Ouyang Feng and Yang Kang killed the freaks of Jiangnan. Kujanu hears everything. He feels total remorse that he wrongly accused Huang Yaoxi. And Yang Kang attacks Huang Rong to silence her, but he hits her soft hedgehog armor, gets pierced. Okay, but then all of a sudden he falls down. He seems like he's poisoned. And it turns out he gets poisoned by proxy because you remember Nan Shiren had attacked Huang Rong earlier, and he was poisoned by Ouyang Feng. So he got his poison blood stuck on her armor spikes, and now since Yang Kang attacked her, it's transferred into Yang Kang, and he dies. Thank God. Good riddance. So that was a happy chapter. He dies. Kujanu is discovered by Ouyang Feng, but Huang Rong says to let him go and then she'll stay. And she'll teach Ouyang Feng the words of the 9 Yin manual. I'm still waiting for Ouyang Feng to learn the wrong words and practice it. Kujano, he reluctantly leaves. He actually gets his ass kicked by Ouyang Feng. he gets kicked outside of the temple. He leaves. He goes and finds Guo Jing, and he tells him everything. Okay, now Guo Jing tries to go and find Huang Rong for 6 months, but he can't. She's gone. So he takes a detour. He goes to Mongolia. Okay, and turns out the Mongols are at war with the Jin dynasty. He sees Genghis Khan and his old friends and his mother, and he tells his mother that he can't marry the Mongolian princess. Okay, he has to leave and find Huang Rong, and the mother agrees, and he goes to say goodbye to the princess, but he kind of doesn't get a chance because she's talking a lot about what their married life will be like. And that's where we left off. How's that? Did I eat enough? That's it for today. You hate Yang Kang more than Ouyang Feng and Wang Yan Honglie. Yeah, Yang Kang's pretty bad. E is for effort. The hell is that? Who's ever heard of that? There's only one character worse than Yang Kang in this. Oh, Yang Ke. L is for Lin for me. L is for lose for me. All right. Chapter 36, Part 2. Here we go. B is for bin for me. You calling me a rubbish bin? Not cool. We're all number one. Yeah, you're all number one in my book, guys. But who's number 0? All right, ready? Without thinking. Sorry. Don't know why my voice did that. Without thinking. Guo Jing blurted out. Wait, let's see what she said before. Oh, she says, that's right. If my brothers don't treat us well, we'll just go south together. Without thinking, Guo Jing blurted out, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm heading south. Hua Zheng was stunned. But I'm just afraid father and mother won't let me go. Guo Jing said, it's only me. Hua Zheng said, I'll always listen to you. If you say we go south, I'll go with you, no matter what. If father and mother don't agree, then we'll sneak off. Yeah, he's not getting it. Guo Jing couldn't hold it in any longer. He sprang to his feet and cried out, it's me and my mother who are going south. The moment he said it, one standing, the other sitting, they locked eyes, and suddenly they both froze like clay statues. Hua Zheng's face was filled with confusion. She didn't understand what he meant. What do you think is going to happen, guys? I hope she doesn't kill herself. That would be bad. Guo Jing said, Sister, I've wronged you. I can't marry you. Hua Zheng exclaimed in panic. Did I do something wrong? Are you angry that I didn't kill myself for you? Guo Jing cried out, No. It's not that you did anything wrong. I don't even know who's in the wrong. I keep thinking about it, and it must be me. He then explained everything, without hiding a single detail. His relationship with Hong Rong, how she had been captured by Ouyang Feng, how he'd searched for her for more than half a year, all the hardships he'd endured. As he spoke with deep emotion, Huazheng couldn't hold back her tears. Guojing said, "Sister, forget me. I must go find her." Huazheng asked, "When you find her, will you come see me again?" Guojing said, "If she's safe and well, I will return for sure." Oh no. Why are you doing this? "And if you don't despise me and still want me, then I will marry you. I swear I won't go back on my word." Huazheng slowly replied, "You don't have to say all that. I know I'll always want to marry you. Go look for her. Search 10 years, 20 years. As long as I'm alive, I'll be waiting for you here on the grasslands." Duh. Why did he swear? You know he's gonna break that promise, right? Unless she dies in the meantime. Guojing was deeply moved. "Yes, 10 years, 20 years, I'll keep searching for her. And for 10 years, 20 years, I'll always remember you waiting for me here on the steppe." Huazheng suddenly threw herself into his arms and burst into tears. Guojing gently held her, eyes reddening with emotion. The two leaned against each other in silence. There was nothing left to say. Speaking more would only bring more pain. After a long time, 4 horses came galloping from the west, rushing past the two of them and heading straight for the golden tent. One of the horses collapsed before reaching the tent, exhausted to death. Its rider leapt up without even glancing back and continued running toward the tent at full speed. Moments later, 10 trumpeters ran out from the golden tent, taking up positions at the 4 corners, east, south, west, and north, and began blowing their horns in unison. Guojing knew this was the most urgent summons issued by Genghis Khan. No matter if you were a prince or favored general, if you weren't present before he curled his 10th finger, you'd be executed on the spot. No mercy. He shouted, "The Khan is summoning the commanders!" Without time to say anything more to Huazheng, he rushed toward the tent, the sound of galloping hooves echoing all around him. By the time Guojing arrived, what if you're like, well, you're going number 2? You just gotta pick up your pants and just run towards the Khan. By the time Guojing arrived, Genghis Khan had curled 3 fingers. By the time he curled his 8th, all the princes and generals had arrived. Then the Khan shouted, "Does that dog, King Mohammed of Khwarezm, have sons this swift? Does he have generals this brave?" Wait, how do you pronounce this? Khwarezm. Khwarezm. Hold on. Maybe he's got a kink for leading women on. Khwarezm. Pronounce. Okay. Do you guys trust these YouTube videos that say how to say certain words?
Khwarezm or Khwarezm.
Khwarezm. You only trust AI slop? Gotcha. Khwarezm. Wait, you guys can't see my... Oh. Dun dun dun. Or how do I do this? Where was Khwarazm? Here it is. Okay. Sounds good. Alright. Does that dog king Mohammed of Khwarezm have sons this swift? Does he have generals this brave? The princes and generals replied in unison, No, he does not. Genghis Khan pounded his chest and roared, Look at what that dog king Mohammed did to the guards I sent to Khwarezm. How did he treat my loyal servants? The crowd followed his pointing hand and saw several Mongol warriors with swollen, bruised faces and beards completely burned off. Oh my god, the horror. To a Mongol warrior, the beard was a symbol of dignity. Even a single touch was a grave insult. Burning it off was unthinkable. When the generals saw this, they erupted in furious shouts. Genghis Khan roared, Khwarezm may be a large nation with many soldiers. Do you think we're afraid? We've shown them every courtesy because we were focused on crushing the Churchin scum. Chochi, my son, tell everyone what that dog Mohammed did to us. Chochi stepped forward and declared in a loud voice, That year, father ordered me to campaign against the wretched Merkit people. After victory, we were returning when that dog king, Mohammed, sent a great army to attack the Merkits too. When our armies met, I sent an envoy to make peace, saying father wished to be friends with Khwarezm. But that red-bearded dog king replied, Even if Genghis Khan forbids you from fighting me, Allah commands me to fight you. A fierce battle followed. We won, but the enemy outnumbered us 10-1, so we withdrew our troops under the cover of night. Borhu, is this Borchu? Spoke up. Even so, the Khan continued to treat that dog king with courtesy and respect. We sent merchants to him, but he robbed them and murdered them. This time we sent envoys to mend relations, but under the influence of the Jurchen dog Prince Wenyan Honglie, that dog king murdered the Khan's loyal envoys. Half were killed outright, the other half had their beards burned off and were driven back in shame. It's not smart to do this to Genghis Khan. When Guo Jing heard the name Wenyan Honglie, his heart trembled. He asked, Wenyan Honglie is in Khwarezm? One of the guards, whose beard had been burned, replied, I recognize him. He sat right beside the dog king, whispering to him the whole time. Genghis Khan roared, The Jurchen dogs have allied with Khwarezm to attack us from both sides. Are we afraid of them? The generals all shouted in unison, Our Khan is invincible. Lead us to Khwarezm. We'll breach their cities, burn their homes, kill their men, and seize their women and livestock. Genghis Khan bellowed, Captured Mohammed! Capture Wenyan Honglie! The entire tent shook from the thunderous roar of the generals, and even the candle flames trembled in their sconces. The Khan then drew his saber and slashed the air in front of him, before bursting from the tent and leaping onto his horse. The generals surged out of the tent, mounting up and following behind. Genghis Khan galloped several li and rode up a hill. Knowing he wished to think alone, the generals stayed at the base, forming a wide circle around it. Seeing Guo Jing nearby, the Khan called, Child, come here. Guo Jing rode up the hill. He's gonna tell her he doesn't want to marry. Well, he's just delaying the marriage, right? Apparently. Define sconces. Oh, it's like the things that on the wall that hold the candle for lighting. I know what a sconce is. Sconce. Do. Wait. There you go. Sconce. Light fixture. Genghis Khan looked out over the vast steppe, where the camps glowed with fires like scattered stars. He raised his whip and said, "Child, do you remember what I told you that day we were surrounded by Sengam and Jamuka in the mountains?" Guo Jing replied, "I remember. You said that we Mongols have many brave men, and if we stop fighting among ourselves and unite, we could make the whole world into a Mongol pasture." Genghis Khan cracked his whip, snap, and shouted, "That's right! Now the Mongols are united. Let's go catch that Wen Yen Hong Lia." Guo Jing had planned to return south the next morning, but this sudden development stirred him. How could he not avenge his father's murder? And remembering the deep kindness the Khan had shown to him and his mother, he thought this was the perfect chance to repay that debt. He cried, "This time we must catch that dog thief Wen Yen Hong Lia." Genghis Khan said, "Khwarezm claims to have 1,000,000 elite troops. I reckon they've got at least 600,000 or 700,000. We only have 200,000, and we still need to leave several thousand to keep pressure on the Jurchens. With just 150,000 against their 700,000. Do you think we can win?" You wonder what Genghis Khan's horses feel part of his troop? Are they proud? Don't the Mongols eat their horses? I think those horses won't feel very good. Each soldier was supposed to keep 2 or 3 spare horses. Yeah, I think, when they're riding, they have like multiple horses. They're so good. They can switch horses mid ride. Yeah, and just keep on riding and jump to a second horse. This dude's asking Guo Jing a math question. Yeah, what is he thinking? Guo Jing knew nothing of military strategy, but youth and passion burned hot in his blood. Without hesitation, he stood tall and said, "We can win." Genghis Khan laughed. "Ha ha ha ha. Of course we can. That day I said I'd treat you like my own son. When Temujin gives his word, he never forgets it. Come with me on this western campaign. When we've captured Mohammed and Wan Yan Honglia, you'll come back and marry my daughter." No. They would switch horses mid-assault too. It was nuts. Yeah. They can do the thing where they fire. They shoot their bows underneath the horses' necks while riding. Oh. How do you do that? That's so good. It must be hella impressive and super intimidating back in the day. Like facing off against a Mongol horde. That was exactly what Guo Jing had hoped to hear, and he agreed without hesitation. Genghis Khan galloped down the hill, shouting, "Muster the troops!" His personal guards blew their horns, and he rode swiftly back. On the vast plains, shadows flickered, and war horses thundered by, but not a single voice was heard. By the time he reached the golden tent, 3 divisions of 10,000 men were already neatly arrayed on the grassland. Under the light of the bright moon, rows upon rows of long sabers shimmered with silver brilliance across the open land. Entering the golden tent, Genghis Khan summoned the scribe and ordered him to write a declaration of war. The scribe took a large piece of sheepskin and began writing a long-winded letter. Kneeling, he read it aloud to the Khan. By the will of heaven, I am made the great Khan of all tribes. I have expanded my territory 10,000 li, conquered countless nations. Since ancient times, none have equaled my mighty deeds. With a single thunderous strike, can you withstand me? The fate of your nation shall be decided today. You must think carefully. If you do not submit sincerely and pay tribute, you will soon witness the advance of the Mongol army. The more Genghis Khan listened, the angrier he became. With a flying kick, he sent the white-bearded scribe tumbling. Why? What did he do? Oh no. And cursed, "Who are you writing this for? Genghis Khan needs none of this flowery drivel when addressing that dog king." He raised his horsewhip and lashed the scribe across the head and body more than a dozen times, then shouted, "Listen carefully. Write down exactly what I say." Trembling, the scribe scrambled to his knees, fetched a fresh piece of sheepskin, and fixed his gaze on the Khan's lips. I guess you don't want to be ascribed to the Khan. Looking out from the open tent flap at the 30,000 elite riders outside, Genghis Khan fell into a brief daze. Then, in a low voice, he said, "Write only 6 words." He paused, then shouted, "If you want war, then war it is." Eight words, not 6. The scribe froze, stunned. He thought, this isn't proper diplomatic language at all. But with his face still burning from the lashes, he dared not protest. He obediently wrote the 6 or 8 bold characters on the sheepskin. Genghis Khan said, "Stamp it with the golden seal and send it at once." Mukhlai came forward and affixed the seal, then appointed a commander of 1,000 to lead the escort. When the generals learned that the Khan's entire war declaration was only 6 words, they were stirred with excitement. They listened as the messengers' hoarse hooves pounded into the distance. Then, as if on cue, they all shouted, "If you want war, then war it is!" Outside the tent, the 30,000 soldiers followed suit, roaring, "Ho-ha! Ho-ha!" the traditional Mongol battle cry. The war horses, stirred by the shouting, neighed wildly in response. In an instant, the vast plains shook with noise like the opening salvos of a great battle. After sending the generals and soldiers away, Genghis Khan sat alone on his golden throne, deep in thought. The throne, taken during the conquest of Zhongdu in the Jin Empire, was adorned with coiled dragons grasping pearls and carved tiger heads on the armrests. It had once been the Jin Emperor's own seat. Propping his chin in his hand, Genghis Khan reflected on his hard and bitter youth, on his mother, wives, his 4 sons, and beloved daughter, on his countless beautiful concubines, his army of countless victories, his vast empire, and the formidable enemy he was about to face. Though old, his hearing was still keen. Suddenly, he heard a few sorrowful neighs from a distant warhorse, then silence. He knew it was an old horse with an incurable illness, and that its master had put it down to end its suffering. He suddenly thought, I'm old, too. Will I survive this campaign? If I die on the battlefield, won't my 4 sons tear the world apart fighting for the throne? Must I, too, someday die? Even the mightiest, most fearless warlord eventually quivers at the thought of death when his strength begins to fade. He thought, they say in the South there are people called Taoists who teach ways to become immortals and live forever. Could it be true? He clapped his hands twice and summoned a quiver guard, commanding him to bring Guojing to the tent. Soon after, Guojing arrived, and the Khan asked him about the matter. Guojing replied, I don't know if true immortality is real, but as for breathing exercises and energy cultivation that prolong life, such things do exist. Genghis Khan was overjoyed. Do you know of such a man? Go and bring one to me. Guojing said, These men of the way won't come simply because they're summoned. They must be sincerely invited. Genghis Khan said, Indeed, I will send a high-ranking official to invite him with all proper respect. Who do you think we should seek? Guojing thought, among the Taoist sects, the orthodox leader is the Chenjin school. Of the 7 masters, Elder Chu has the highest martial skill and the most accommodating nature. Perhaps he would be willing. Then he spoke the name of Changchun Ji, Chu Chu Chi. Genghis Khan was overjoyed. He immediately summoned the scribe, explained the matter to him, and ordered him to draft an imperial edict. The scribe, still smarting from the earlier beating, pondered for a long time, then wrote the edict. Oh no! He's gonna get his ass beat again. I have business. Come at once. Mimicking the Khan's style, he kept it to 6 characters, thinking this time it would surely please. Unexpectedly, as soon as Genghis Khan heard it, he flew into a rage, lashed out with his whip again, and scolded, That's how I speak to that dog king! How can you address a man of virtue the same way? It needs to be long, humble, and respectful. The scribe prostrated himself on the ground and began composing. Heaven detests the extreme arrogance and luxury of the central plains. I, who dwell in the northern wilderness, live free of worldly desires. I return to simplicity, embrace frugality, and share my food and clothing with my cattlemen and horse keepers. I regard the people as my children, and cherish the worthy as brothers. I lead troops by example, never placing myself behind them in danger. In 7 years I have accomplished great deeds, unifying the lands under heaven. It is not that my actions are virtuous, but that the Jin dynasty's misrule incurred heaven's wrath. Thus I have received divine aid and inherited supreme power. To the south I border Zhao and Song. To the north I neighbor the Uyghurs. The East Xia and Western tribes all pay tribute. Yet the burden of rule is heavy, and peace remains fragile. As a man must carve oars to cross rivers, so must I seek the wise to stabilize the world. Since I ascended to the throne, I have governed diligently, yet the highest post remains unfilled. I have heard of Master Chu, the Taoist. He embodies the true way, is well versed in all knowledge, investigates principles deeply, cultivates both virtue and the way. He upholds the ancient traditions of noble gentlemen and conducts himself with the purity of an enlightened man. He has long hidden himself in seclusion, guiding others on the path of immortals. Many have gathered to follow him. Even after the chaos of war, I hear that the master still dwells in the Shandong region. I admire and yearn for him beyond words. The scribe is his AI. Yeah. The scribe looked up and asked, "Is that long enough?" Genghis Khan laughed. "A whole chunk like that? Good. Now write that I'm sending a high-ranking Han official, Liu Zhonglu, to personally invite him and ask that he must come." Oh no. Another 20 paragraphs. The scribe continued writing. "Have you not heard of the story of meeting at the Wei River and the 3 humble visits to the thatched cottage? Alas, the mountains and rivers stretch far between us, and I regret I cannot come in person. I now fast and purify myself and send the trusted official Liu Zhonglu with a light escort and simple carriage, traveling 1,000 miles to sincerely invite the master to grace us with his presence. Whether for the sake of relieving the people's suffering in these troubled times, or to teach me how to preserve my health and prolong life, I will personally attend upon the master. I ask only for a single word of guidance, which will suffice. This letter expresses a mere fraction of my heart's desire. May the master, who embodies the great way, respond with benevolence and not disappoint the wishes of all beings. This is my imperial edict. Please be informed." Genghis Khan said, "Good, just like that." He rewarded the scribe with 5 taels of gold. Use that to get a massage or something. And then ordered Guojing to personally write a letter urging Chu Chuchi to accept the invitation. That very day, Liu Zhonglu departed with the edict and headed south. The next day, Genghis Khan held a grand council of his generals to plan the western campaign. During the meeting, he conferred upon Guojing the title of Nayan, putting him in command of a division of 10,000 men. Nayan was the highest title in the Mongol hierarchy, one that only nobles or great generals could attain. Bro got a promotion. By this time, Guojing's martial skill had advanced significantly, but when it came to military tactics and battlefield maneuvers, he was utterly clueless. He had to frequently consult the seasoned generals Jebe and Subutai. But Guojing's mind had always been slow, and warfare was full of ever-changing complexities. It was impossible to master in just a short time. He saw the other generals busy allocating supplies, selecting horses, and preparing weapons. A campaign of 150,000 troops into a distant, barren, and bitterly cold land required immense preparation. Guojing, unfamiliar with any of it, had to delegate all responsibilities to his 10 commanders of 1,000. Jebe and Tolui also gave him regular guidance. After more than a month, the more Guojing thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. He knew he was clumsy at strategy, and neither the 18 dragon subduing palms nor the 9 yin manual could help him in battle. Why not? Just destroy the entire enemy army. One wrong command, and it would lead to the annihilation of his troops, not only tarnishing Genghis Khan's name, but also wasting the lives of 10,000 men. One day, as he was about to go and resign his commission, content to fight on the front lines as an ordinary soldier, a personal guard reported that over 1,000 Han Chinese were outside requesting an audience. Guojing was delighted. Taoist Chu has arrived so quickly, he thought, and rushed out of the tent, but was surprised to see a large group of beggar-like figures standing on the plain. 3 of them hurried forward and bowed. It was Elder Lu Youjiao and Elder Jian Liang of the beggar sect. Guojing quickly asked, "Have you found any news of Miss Hongrong?" Lu Youjiao replied, "We searched far and wide, but found no trace of the chief. Upon hearing that you were leading a campaign westward, we came to offer our assistance. All right. Guojing was deeply puzzled. How did you find out where I was? Lu Youjiao said. The Great Khan sent emissaries to invite Taoist Chu Chu Chi. Our sex's intelligence network in the Chenjin school learned of your whereabouts. Guojing stood in a daze for a long while, gazing at the drifting white clouds in the southern sky. He thought, even the beggar sect, with eyes and ears all over the world, can't find Ronger's whereabouts. I fear the worst. At that thought, his eyes reddened with tears. He immediately ordered his guards to arrange quarters for the beggar sect members, then went off to report to Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan said, Good. They'll be placed under your command. When Guojing brought up the matter of resigning his post, Genghis Khan grew angry. Who's born knowing how to lead troops into battle? No one. You fight a few battles, and you'll learn. You've grown up under my wing. What are you afraid of? The son-in-law of Genghis Khan must know how to fight. Guojing didn't dare say more and returned to his tent, still deeply troubled. When Lu Youjiao learned of his concerns, he offered a few words of comfort. That evening, Lu entered the tent and said, If I'd known earlier, I'd have brought the 6 secret teachings or the art of war by Master Jiang Tai Gong from the south. That would have been ideal. His remark jogged Guojing's memory. He suddenly remembered the Wu Mu legacy manuscript he carried with him. Aha! It was a treasure trove of military wisdom. How could he have forgotten? He immediately fetched it from his pack and began reading by lamplight, poring over it through the night, until noon the next day before feeling any weariness. He's gonna become like a super good general now? Alright. I think it's a good time for a break. 5 minutes, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. The book laid out in detail every matter of military planning, how to make strategies, assess situations, attack and defend, train troops, appoint generals, form battle formations, engage in open field warfare, and respond to movement, calm, or crisis. It explained both orthodox and unorthodox tactics thoroughly. Back when he had briefly skimmed the book at the Yueyang Tower, he hadn't paid it much attention, but now, with real use at hand, every passage struck him as profoundly insightful. Yeah, he's gonna be like a super general now. Some parts of the book were difficult to understand, so he called Lu Youjiao over to consult him. Lu said, I'm not quite sure at the moment. Let me think on it a bit. He stepped outside the tent for only a moment before returning and clearly explaining the answer. Guojing was delighted and continued seeking his help. But something strange happened. Lu Youjiao was never able to answer on the spot. Yet, as soon as he stepped outside to think, he always returned with a precise and thoughtful explanation. Is Hong Rong back? At first, Guojing didn't think much of it, but after several days of this pattern, he began to find it suspicious. That evening, Guojing asked him about the meaning of a single character from the manuscript. Lu again said he couldn't recall and needed to think it over. Guojing thought, it's one thing to take time thinking over a military concept, but recognizing a character? If you know it, you know it. What's there to think about? Though he was now a general, he was still young at heart. As soon as Lu left the tent, Guojing slipped out the back and hid in the tall grass to observe what Lu was really doing. He saw Lu Youjiao hurry into a small nearby tent and return almost immediately. Guojing rushed back into his own tent. Moments later, Lu followed him in and said, I figured it out. He then explained the meaning and pronunciation of the character. Guojing smiled and said, Elder Lu, since you have another teacher helping you, why not invite him to meet me? Lu looked stunned. There's no one else, he replied. Guojing took his hand and said with a smile, Let's go take a look together. He led him outside toward the small tent. Two beggar sect members stood guard at the entrance. When they saw Guojing approach, they both gave a discreet cough. Hearing the sound, Guojing immediately let go of Lu's hand and rushed toward the small tent. He lifted the flap just in time to see the curtain at the rear swaying, clearly from someone who had just exited. Guojing dashed forward and pulled back the curtain, but all he saw was a field of tall grass, no sign of anyone. He stood frozen, speechless. When he turned back and questioned Lu, the man insisted the tent was his own, and no one else had been inside. Guojing couldn't get a straight answer. When he asked another question from the Wu Mu Legacy manuscript, Lu didn't respond until late the next day. Guojing realized that whoever had been hiding in the tent meant him no harm, and simply didn't want to be seen. Judging by the circumstances, it was likely some reclusive martial arts master from the Jianghu. Not wanting to force the issue, Guojing put the matter aside. Come on, Guojing. When Guojing thinks you're dumb. At night, he continued studying the manuscript, and during the day, he trained the troops according to its principles. Mongol cavalry were accustomed to free-form skirmishes and found structured formations quite unnatural. But with the commander's orders clear, they dared not disobey, and trained as instructed. After another month, Genghis Khan had his provisions and troops ready. And the 10,000 soldiers under Guojing's command had thoroughly mastered the 8 formations: heaven covering, earth carrying, wind soaring, cloud hanging, dragon flying, tiger wing, bird gliding, and snake coiling. These formations had originally been devised by Zhuge Liang based on ancient tactics, and had later been expanded and refined by Yue Fei. This doesn't really make sense, right? The Mongol cavalry have their own like tactics and stuff specific to cavalry. I don't think you just put them in formations. When Yue Fei was young, he was especially fond of field battles. His superior, Zhong Zi, once told him, "You possess courage, wisdom, and talent that surpass even the finest generals of old. But your preference for field combat is not a flawless strategy." Yue Fei replied, "To form formations before engaging is the standard of military doctrine, but the true wonder lies in adapting according to the commander's intent." Zhongzi agreed with his reasoning. In later years, as Yue Fei fought many campaigns, he came to realize that rigid adherence to old methods was unwise, but using formations to train generals and soldiers, and then applying them flexibly in battle, could indeed lead to victory. These insights were all recorded in the Wu Mu Legacy manuscript. That day, the weather was crisp and clear. The sky stretched endlessly, a wash of pure blue. 15 divisions of 10,000 men each stood in neat ranks across the vast Mongolian grasslands. After making offerings to heaven and earth and declaring the expedition, Genghis Khan turned to his princes and generals and said, "A stone has no skin, but a man's life has an end. My hair and beard have turned white. In this campaign, I may not live to return. My consort mentioned it to me last night, and I think she's right. Today, I must name one of my sons to carry my banner after my death." The founding generals who had followed Genghis Khan through countless eastern and western campaigns were now white-haired and weathered. Hearing the Khan speak of naming a successor, they were all stunned and excited, turning their eyes to him, waiting for him to announce the name. Genghis Khan said, "Chochi, you are my eldest son. Who do you think I should appoint?" Chochi's heart jumped. He was capable and had achieved many military victories. As the eldest, he had always assumed he would naturally inherit the Khanate. But now that the Khan had suddenly asked, he didn't know how to answer. The second son, Chagatai, had a fiery temper and had always been at odds with Chochi. When he heard their father address Chochi, he shouted, "Why ask him? Why should we let this bastard of the Merkit tribe rule over us?" You see, in the early days of Genghis Khan's rise, his forces were weak, and his wife had been captured by the Merkit. When she was finally rescued years later, she had already given birth to Chochi. But Genghis Khan never held that against him, and had always treated Chochi as his own son. When Chochi heard his brother insult him so viciously, he couldn't hold back. He lunged at Chagatai, grabbed him by the collar, and shouted, "Father never treated me as an outsider. Why must you insult me like this? What makes you think you're better than me? You're nothing but arrogant and hot-tempered. Let's go outside right now and settle this. If I lose to you in archery, I'll cut off my thumb. If I lose in combat, I'll fall to the ground and never rise again." Then he turned to Genghis Khan and said, "Father, please give the order." The two brothers were locked in a furious grip, ready to brawl on the spot. Genghis Khan didn't even die yet, and they're already fighting. The gathered generals rushed to intervene. Borchu held Chochi back, while Muhuali grabbed Chagatai. Genghis Khan, recalling how he had been humiliated by enemies in his youth, even losing his wife, felt a wave of silent sorrow. The generals all scolded Chagatai for bringing up such painful history and wounding the Khan's heart. Genghis Khan said, "Let go, both of you. Chochi is my eldest son. I have always loved and valued him. From now on, no one is allowed to speak of this again." Chagatai released Chochi and said, "Chochi is strong and capable, no one denies that, but he is not as kind as our third brother Ogedei. I nominate Ogedei." Genghis Khan turned to Chochi. "And you?" Chochi, seeing how things stood, knew he would not inherit the Khanate, but he had always been on good terms with his third brother and trusted his kindness. He knew Ogedei would not harm him in the future, so he said, "Very well. I too nominate Ogedei." The fourth prince, Tolui, had no objections. Ogedei tried to decline the offer, but Genghis Khan said, "There's no need to be modest. In warfare, you may not be as skilled as your elder brothers, but you treat others with warmth and fairness. When you become great Khan, the other princes and generals will not fall into strife and bloodshed. As long as we Mongols do not fight among ourselves, we are invincible. What else is there to worry about?" That day, Genghis Khan held a grand feast to celebrate the appointment of the new crown prince. The feast lasted deep into the night. Guojing returned to his camp somewhat tipsy and had just begun to undress for bed when a soldier rushed into the tent and cried, "Your Highness, something terrible has happened. The eldest and second princes got drunk and led their troops into battle against each other." Guojing was shocked. "Quick, report to the great Khan." The soldier replied, "The Khan is drunk. We couldn't wake him." Okay. Guojing knew that both Chochi and Chagatai had their own trusted followers, all elite warriors and fierce generals. If their forces truly clashed, the Mongol army would suffer a devastating loss of strength. But the two had already come to blows earlier that day in front of the great Khan, and now they were both drunk. How could he possibly stop them with mere words? He paced anxiously inside his tent, striking his forehead and muttering, "If only Rong-er were here, she'd surely think of a plan." Surely someone in the chain of command said no. No? Well, they are at the top of the chain, aren't they? Just right under the Khan. Just then, he heard shouting in the distance. The two forces were about to fight. His anxiety mounted. Suddenly, Lu Youjiao burst into the tent and handed him a slip of paper. On it were written two lines. Block the two armies with the serpentine coil formation. Use the tiger wing formation to surround and capture any who resist. Over the past days, Guojing had thoroughly memorized the Wu Mu legacy manuscript. He's pretty smart. As soon as he saw those two lines, realization struck him like lightning. He cried, "How could I be so foolish not to think of this myself? What good is reading the book if I can't apply it?" He immediately issued orders to the troops. The Mongol army was known for strict discipline, even though many were drunk, except for the Khan, I guess. Even though many were drunk, as soon as the order came, they donned armor and mounted up. Within moments, the formation was neatly arrayed. Guojing ordered the central command to beat the war drums 3 times. The horns blared and the front lines shouted as they charged northeast. After several li, scouts reported back, "The personnel troops of the 1st and 2nd princes have engaged. They're already shouting ho ho, ho ho." Not ho ho. Guojing's heart tightened. "I may be too late. I might not be able to prevent this disaster." He waved his hand and issued another order. 3 units from the right rear flank surged ahead. 3 more followed as reserve. The Heavenly Rush unit and Earth Push unit on the right side arrayed themselves properly. Wind from the northwest and northeast teams held the right, with the left troops forming their corresponding counterpart. Following Guojing's command banner, they assembled into the serpentine coil formation and charged forward. Chochi and Chagatai each had over 20,000 men and were fiercely engaged, blades swinging. Suddenly, this serpentine coil formation burst into the middle. The precision and unity of the troops stunned both sides and momentarily disrupted their ranks. Chagatai roared, "Who is it? Who dares interfere? Are you helping me or that bastard Chochi?" Guojing ignored him. He waved his command flag and the formation transformed. The serpentine coil instantly shifted into the tiger wing formation, the front turning leftward. 4 units in the right forward flank surged ahead, while the rest circled around Chagatai's forces from both sides. Only 2 units from the left guarded against Chochi's forces to anchor the flank. By now, Chagatai could see it was Guojing's banner and shouted angrily, "I knew that southern dog was no good!" He ordered his men to charge Guojing's army. But the tiger wing formation was subtle and powerful, its twin wings striking like predators. This was the same formation once used by Han Xin at Gaixia to crush Xiang Yu. Military doctrine said, if outnumbering the enemy tenfold, encircle them. But this formation could use fewer troops to trap more, thanks to its dynamic adaptability. Chagatai's men saw Guojing's squads darting in and out in unpredictable patterns, unable to tell how many troops there actually were. Fear and confusion spread through their ranks. Soon, Chagatai's 20,000 men were divided and isolated. Left and right could no longer aid each other. Even during their initial fight against Chochi's forces, morale had been low. After all, they were fighting their own kin. Many were friends. Thus, everyone feared the Khan's wrath. Now Guo Jing's sudden attack scattered them further. The will to fight was gone. From Guo Jing's central command, a voice called out loudly. "We are all Mongol brothers. Do not slaughter each other. Throw down your weapons and avoid punishment." The message struck home. The soldiers dismounted en masse, tossing aside their blades, bows, and spears. Chagatai, with 1,000 of his personal guards, charged at Guo Jing's command tent, but 3 gong strikes rang out, and 8 units surrounded them from all sides. In the blink of an eye, the ground was covered with horse-tripping ropes. The attackers toppled off their mounts one after another. 4 or 5 soldiers swarmed each of Chagatai's guards, pinning them to the ground and tying their hands behind their backs. Chochi saw Guo Jing crush Chagatai's forces and was both startled and delighted. Just as he stepped forward to speak, a horn sounded. Guo Jing's front became the rear, and the rear became the front. His troops surged forward again from all sides. Chochi, seasoned as he was stunned by the dazzling maneuver. He quickly ordered his men to resist, but Guo Jing's 10,000-strong unit had already broken into 12 sub-units. They didn't charge forward, but wheeled backward. Strange behavior. Unknown to Chochi, these 12 units were named after the 12 earthly branches. Great Black, Zi, Break the Foe, Cho, Left Assault, Yin, Green Snake, Mao, Smash Fiends, Chen. That sounds badass. Smash Fiends. Front Assault, Xi, Great Red, Wu, Vanguard, Wei, Right Strike, Shin, White Cloud, Yo, Final Blow, Shu, and Rear Guard, Hai. They shifted formations according to the 12 two-hour periods of the day, mixing orthodox and unorthodox tactics, attacking in turns. The entire formation moved like a tide. Sometimes the right attacked the left, sometimes the left swept the right. In a single wave of strikes, Chochi's army fell into chaos. In less than the time it takes to eat a meal, Chochi's army, too, was routed and captured. Chochi remembered how, when he had first met Guo Jing, he had flogged him nearly to death. Chagatai recalled how he had once set vicious dogs on him. Now both now feared Guo Jing might take the opportunity for revenge. Startled and sobered by the fear of retribution and of their father's wrath, they regretted their actions deeply. Guo Jing had captured them both, but knowing he was ultimately an outsider, wasn't sure whether this deed would bring him favor or trouble. He was about to consult with Ogadai and Tolui when suddenly horns blared, and through the firelight he saw the great Khan's 9-plumed royal banner approaching from afar. When Genghis Khan had sobered up, he learned that his 2 sons were leading their forces in battle against each other. He had been filled with a mix of shock and rage. He hadn't even stopped to put on armor, rushing out with his hair loose to stop them. As he neared the scene, he was astonished to find the soldiers of both armies sitting in neat rows on the ground, with Guo Jing's cavalry keeping watch nearby. His 2 sons remained on horseback, but each was surrounded by 8 armed guards holding drawn blades. Genghis Khan was taken aback. Guo Jing stepped forward and bowed to the ground, reporting the situation in full. Genghis Khan was overjoyed that such a grave crisis had been diffused so thoroughly. On his way there, he had imagined his sons' elite Mongol troops tearing each other apart, with bodies littering the ground, and perhaps both princes already slain. But now, seeing his sons unharmed and the troops intact, his delight was overwhelming. He immediately summoned all his generals and gave Chochi and Chagatai a thorough scolding in front of everyone. He rewarded Guo Jing and the soldiers under his command handsomely. Turning to Guo Jing, he said, "And you said you don't know how to lead troops into battle? The merit from this victory is greater than conquering Zhongdu of the Jin Empire. If we fail to take an enemy fortress today, we can always try again tomorrow. But if my sons and elite warriors were to die, how could I ever replace them? Guo Jing distributed the gold, silver, and livestock he received to the troops, sparking waves of cheering throughout the army. The generals, seeing the great merit he had earned, all came to his camp to offer congratulations. After seeing off the guests, Guo Jing took out the note Lu Youjiao had handed him and examined it closely. The handwriting was clumsy and uneven, almost certainly written by Lu himself, but Guo Jing couldn't help feeling suspicious. I used the serpentine coil and tiger wing formations to train my troops, but I never mentioned their names to Elder Lu. When I asked him questions from the military manual, I never brought up anything about those formations either. How did he know their names? Did he secretly read my copy of the military book? He summoned Lu Youjiao to the tent and said, Elder Lu, if you enjoy reading the military manual, I'll lend it to you. Lu laughed and replied, This poor beggar has no hopes of becoming a general. Even leading a few young beggars doesn't require military strategy. Reading that book would be wasted on me. Guo Jing pointed to the note and asked, Then how did you know about the serpentine coil and tiger wing formations? Lu replied, You mentioned them to me, didn't you? Have you forgotten? Guo Jing knew that wasn't true. The more he thought about it, the more curious he became, but he still couldn't figure out what Lu was hiding. The next day, Genghis Khan held a grand assembly and assigned positions. The vanguard was led by Chagatai and Ogedai. The left wing was commanded by Choji, and the right wing was under Guo Jing. Each of the three fronts had three 10,000-man divisions. Genghis Khan led the central army with Tolui, commanding 6 more divisions to provide backup. Each soldier had several horses and rotated mounts to conserve their strength. Officers had even more horses. Altogether, the 10,000-man divisions brought nearly 1,000,000 horses. Damn. The horns blared in unison, shaking the earth. 30,000 men in the vanguard surged forward with thundering hooves, and the massive army set out toward the west. As the army pushed deeper into Khwarezmian territory, their momentum was unstoppable. Though Muhammad had a vast army, it was no match for the Mongol forces. Guo Jing, in the course of sieges and battles, also earned considerable merit. Yay. What did you guys think of that chapter? So basically, Guo Jing is one of the best generals. Also one of the best fighters. Well, not Guo Jing. Huang Rong apparently is one of the best generals. Was Guo Jing a real person in the past? Was he part of the Mongolian army? Nope. Fictional. You don't think any of Jin Young's main characters were actual historical figures? Okay. Yeah, he wasn't. Why? He's right here. One of the best generals. Why isn't he in the books? Okay. Alright, that was cool. Hong Rong's back. So how did she escape Ouyang Feng? Or he already practiced her fake martial arts and now he's like, oh, is he dead? Or he's like, is he crazy now? Or did he lose all of his martial arts? What's happened? I want to know. What's up with Guo Jing? He still swore to marry the Mongol princess. You just know he's gonna break that promise, right? What's he doing? Just leave her. Just leave. You can do it. And Genghis Khan is gonna be really mad when he does, though. Might even try to kill him. Alright. That was cool. I liked it. We're heading towards the end. Oh my god. Next is chapter 37. There's only 40 chapters, so we're almost there. Almost there. Alright, guys. That's it for today. Thanks for coming. I love you. I will see you next time. Alright. Bye.